Look at
Yeah, I think it was
you
that one.
started the show.
I did. He let me hit a button for once.
Well, I mean, you found the button.
Damn, dude.
I had to show you where it was at.
I got 2 kids, man. I think I know where the button is.
No.
It doesn't work that way. All right, guys.
That's pretty funny, though.
Welcome to another Chit Chat.
Well, yeah, dude, we're in series 3 now, man. This is like, we finally got our shit together with good equipment and like we know what we're doing and stuff.
And I will be moving the mic around, but probably won't hear it as much as you used to. So, although I am a klutz. We've said that before. All right.
Apparently, we don't have our shit together. There you go, bro.
Dude.
What we do?
B-sides, man.
Besides your manners.
That's how we do.
No, that's how you do.
That's how we do.
Yeah, see, I don't think that's going to do you as well because it's not like you got to.
Well, I feel like I'm trying to get a little bit more room from my.
See, this is a good thing. I can like.
Behind the curtain over here.
Well, no, because here what we can do is this.
That's a little weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but it gets it taller.
Like it's pointing a gun at me. I don't know.
Well, but it needs to be in your mouth. So you doing it that way was like making it too low and
need to be
keeping
in
you
my
crowded.
mouth. Doesn't need to be in my mouth.
I mean, a little bit. Dude, yeah.
Salud.
Na zdrowie.
This doesn't have nearly as much bite as the last batch.
Oh, this is definitely a way smoother batch. Way better.
Shiner.
Well, and this is what I was like. I don't know, man. I've never been like, so I don't have extensive knowledge in how to like distill and stuff like that. What the?
Or how to operate your mic.
No, it's not my mic. It's not my mic. That's because I didn't Velcro stuff in. So I gotta like, there you go.
It's just wires hanging out everywhere.
Well, we're in studio too, man. So I'm not trying to get like mad crazy and.
You're not trying to get mad crazy? Oh, we're already there.
We're already where? Oh, mad crazy. Yeah, that happens.
Is that a place? I don't know.
But yeah, so I don't really know anything about like distilling for the most part. Like I'm not like a huge. I don't have extensive knowledge in this.
Yeah, neither do I. Maybe one of these days I'll look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I do know the quality of what we got is.
I mean, I know you still have to make a mash, right? Just like you do with beer.
Yeah.
But then you're taking that finished product and then you're stilling it down. Obviously, stilling. You're boiling it off so that you're catching the alcohol, and then that's.
Well, yeah, that's what the distilling is once you have you like you said, you make your mash. So once you got all that going and then you like, kind of filter it and whatnot, and you got liquid left over and you let it do its thing.
When I've seen this, the still is it's a boil pod, just like you'd use for your beer boil, but as it's boiling it off, it has a domed condenser. So it comes up to a dome that filters out to like a tiny little line. And as it hits that line and goes up further, it starts to get colder. As it chills, it condenses on the inside of the line and slowly drips down the other side.
Well, yeah, because alcohol,
proper temperatures to use, that changes everything. Sorry, go on.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing is water and alcohol evaporate at different temperatures.
Right.
That's why you don't want to boil. You want it to like steam. And then that steam that's coming off is mostly alcohol. And then, yeah, as it goes up through into that collector and then starts going through the tube, as it cools, it turns itself into liquid alcohol with a certain amount of water. That's why I think
some of it gets up there.
Yeah, the term is called proofing, like when it starts to proof itself, because you're actually getting the same amount of like alcohol and water that you would want for your relative like finished product. Like, so a higher quality shine will actually like proof itself in a proper system.
Yeah, I don't know. And then you get into double and triple distilling, and that changes everything. And then you're cooking it down even more. You're basing it.
Well, I mean, like freebasing it.
I mean, well, no, it's not the same process. No, not at all. But like basically, that you're taking the alcohol components and you're burning off more of the water. Or no, you're keeping more of the water technically because you're letting it slowly steam. So more of the alcohol and less of the water is coming out every time you still, but it also filters out impurities.
Correct.
So that's why usually triple distilled vodka or whatever tastes a lot smoother.
Well, yeah, because because every time you're doing it, yeah, you're losing more and more of the stuff that you don't want.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, we never really ever introduced the show. Like we start to, or I don't know, man.
It's like our
We
new
get
thing ever
sidetracked.
since the start of the third.
Well, it was
I
before
don't
the
wanna call it
third.
season, but
Yeah, series.
series. Yeah,
Yeah, well, series 3.
series.
Since series 3.
It's in series. Yeah,
That's what we should call this. Since series 3.
I had to come back in there somehow.
No, that's the way it goes. But yeah, no, that's
My filler.
no. Well, but
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
See, this thing already went off the rails. I love it.
there was rails. No, there's never any rails here.
Well, see, but that's the thing is like, all right, so like, I keep saying that.
If there's rails, there'd be two of those guys on that hand cart. Remember that in the cartoons?
Yeah, right.
Hand cart where you go, like the
I just got Blazing
the
Saddles.
seesaw bar that you push back and forth, and
Nah, I just saw Blazing Saddles pop up with that. That's what I saw. Yeah, nah, I've been saying is like we need to. The B-sides is supposed to be more of that like us being asinine douchebaggery. I think I said before, where we're supposed to like not give a shit. We're supposed to just like we're warming up. Like so, I mean I think the less structure we can have, the better. My feeling.
yeah, we don't have to stick to a certain paradigm either. That was one of the things that if I want to go off the rails for a bit, this is the time to do it.
Well, and
But then again, that's what makes I'm telling you interesting too, because
well, that's
you
so,
usually lose track of the rails somewhere in there at least once.
well, you hop off that motherfucker.
Well, I don't like conformity.
Yeah, I get
There's
that.
no such thing as a straight line.
What my thing is like more of with
I just sniffed right on the mic.
you still ain't got your shit together. It's all good. We're aware. It's better than what it used to be. I'll give you that. That's for sure.
I'm the only one that breaks the rules here, apparently.
We're not talking about me right now.
We're never talking about you.
I mean, sometimes. Anywho. So the whole thing of us not like, just gotta play with the mic, don't you? That's what you do. Anywho, I really enjoy the fact of having that place where we do get that freedom, like you're saying. But while we do allow for, I guess, greater tangents or more personal expression, I mean, if anybody's gonna get like belligerent or something, like, dude, we're still like, that shit don't fly never.
Anybody's going to get...
Belligerent.
Oh, if I'm going to get belligerent,
Anyone.
because that's what you were implying there.
No, I said if anyone gets belligerent. Those are my literal words, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you go back and listen, you're gonna hear that. Be like, some bitch, you did say that shit. Yeah. So if anyone does,
I mean, I think if there was a place for a rant, this would be it.
oh, dude, rant's totally allowed. It's like, so I said belligerent. Like when you become truculent with your language, when it's no longer like poignant or passionate, when you're actually like
I know personally, and I'll just bring this up now, just to, since we're in the green room too.
Yeah, safe space.
Safe space. That there are, obviously, if you've been listening, which I don't even know, sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. If you've been listening, there are a couple times where I start to go on some kind of personal rant and I get kicked in the ankle or the shin. But I don't know. I would say
I've only kicked you once, and I lightly tapped you.
I would say if I'm going to bring it up, I should bring it up during this part of the show, during the setup, during the green room.
Well, dude, that was the last time I kicked you. That's what that was for. That was like, dude, wrong time.
Maybe.
No, it was.
I mean, my only point is, and this is where I have trouble with it. So on I'm telling you, there's certain things like, let's just put it out there. There's certain things we can't discuss. We try not to go on to anything seasonal. So we're not going to bring up if there's a holiday around or anything like that.
Yeah, we want to be timeless.
We could generally talk about the weather, but when you get into specifics, then it starts to point things out. And then the other two big rules is no religion and no politics. And my biggest problem with that is there's topics that bleed over into that, but I don't necessarily want to go off talking about Politico.
Well, and that's the thing.
Because there's personal politics that play a part. Right. And all I'm going to say right here, and I'll just leave it at this, if there's anybody that wants to write into the show that has personal political issues, not politics, I'm not going to talk about, you can vote for this guy or vote, not talking about that. I'm talking about people politics with the nature of the way things are today versus maybe how they were 2 or 3 years ago. If there's something that's on your mind, please share, because we're not allowed to talk on the show, but I'd be more than happy to talk off mic.
Well, so, and that's my thing is we've had plenty of discussions where we got into religion or politics, but we weren't actually discussing them. They were just a piece of the conversation, which, I mean, that we can always do that stuff, for real. I mean, that's always an allowable component. It's more of if only we did politics or religion, we can't do that because that's not what the station's for. So that's, you know what I mean?
However, I was thinking about that though, because in context, you can blast politics all you want comedically. That's a different thing altogether. I was thinking about that recently.
Well, that's comedy.
Because then it's comedy. It goes over into the, Well,
that's why I'm going to agree with the statement that you said where we're not going to sit here and be like, hey, vote for this person or, who I'm thinking about, or we're not going to do any of that kind of crap. We're also not going to sit here and read the Proverbs read from
I think they're all crazy. Yeah, I think they're all crazy. So
yeah, well, but that's another thing though is
matters whether you wear an R or a D.
Yeah, I can care less about that crap
anymore.
Well, and beyond that, so even when we get into a hearty discussion where it's hey, you know what, I do want to quote from one of these biblical books. It's all right, well, if it's pertinent to the conversation, then yeah, that's not religion. That's you okay?
Yeah,
trying to set yourself
drawing the line, and that's one thing where I've said to you before. It's you may make assumptions that I'm going to go well over it, and I get kicked before I even get a chance to bring something up.
I've kicked you one time.
Well, in the new series, but I think I've been looked at harshly, and
yeah, that's different than kick.
You hit me,
dude. I lightly slapped you.
I've had it up to here with your crap, Ferris. Right. Had to get that out.
Yeah, man. Right. But that's what we do. That's our style. That's how we get down. You know what I mean? So
fucking look at my ding.
Look at my ding.
Didn't look the same. It didn't.
Because those were different dings, bro.
Remember last time, what was it? Fungus. It makes that shape right there when you say it. We're sitting here looking at the screen, watching the audio feed. Sorry.
Well, I think that's you being the spatial-minded individual that you are, it helps you to relate stuff. You know what I mean? It gives you another input just so you can...
Input.
Yeah, Johnny Five. That's a good thing, though. I mean...
No disassemble.
I mean, not Johnny Five.
No, man. That's AI right there.
Dude, Johnny Five disassembles, and then he turns you into the Three Stooges.
Now, what do you think about... I mean, because you're a big fan of Mr. Musk. Elon, right? You're a big fan of him. Now he goes off.
I'm a fan of his process and what seems to be his intentions.
Well, my point is, you listen to a lot of his public speeches, his interviews,
Well, there's not a lot of them, but yeah,
I know you've caught some of the stuff on Joe Rogan,
of course.
And how do you feel about that whole rant he goes into with AI and his concerns for the future and
specifically?
Yeah,
what parts of what of
I don't know, and it's hard to kind of put my finger on because I haven't really delved into him as a person. I know he is on the spectrum, is he not? I don't want to go off board here, but there is something a little different for him that enables him to focus so hard on things. I think that's one of the things that
Honestly, I think I would take it even further and just say he found something to be passionate about and he really just focuses in on that. So, I mean, he's got his thing. So, I would put it as that, yeah.
So, I mean, the thing that, I guess the reason I brought up the AI issue was because it seems to me like he's really concerned that AI is a very real thing. I'm not quite so sure. I think I think the closer you get to something like that, you're just cutting it in half, and it's going to take a long, long time. I mean,
oh, you're talking like
to be able to
the Einstein idea of you can never get to something because you're only going to get half that distance, and you keep chopping it down.
Not that you'll never. I mean, there is a point where you're like, yeah, I've heard that argument before that if you keep cutting the distance in half, you're never actually there. But I mean, if I'm touching you, am I really touching you? Because I'm touching, the hairs and that area right. I mean, and then if I punch you, I mean, I would say I got there. I mean, I don't care how many times you cut that. I don't know. That's a weird argument. But anyway, he goes off on this whole thing about his concern for the future and how AI is going to play he just says it like it's a fact. AI is going to play a big role in our lives. And he says it almost like he's concerned about it, but then he seems to be at the forefront of developing such technology. So I'm kind of confused as to why there's does he feel like it's better off just to push on with it and just to let it happen, and that maybe we'll advance fast enough that we'll be able to figure out any issues that there may be with it? Or, I mean, because I assume when he goes off on these tangents, and I haven't heard an interview yet where he goes into his real concerns. But I mean, how many movies have we seen? I mean, the whole series of movies, Terminator, really the list goes on. I'm trying to blank right now, but
Matrix.
Yeah. And even old 80s movies. Do you remember Computer Love? Was that the one where the computer took over the house? It was like, this was really early on. Like they're able to do that now, basically, where you can hook a computer on, up to your house and it.
Yeah, Alexa's.
Well, that's the simple plug and play version, but this was like, it would.
That thing controls lights and TVs and coffee pots.
It had armatures, and it had an ability to physically do and create things within that space. Just as much, if not more power than you'd have in your own home, that you'd never have to do anything. It'd be like the Jetsons sort of thing.
Yeah, iRobot.
iRobot's another one. Yeah. But how many of these, probably nearly as many as scary alien movies that are out there.
Which, all right, so let's. I want to go on that Dr. Greer stuff for a hot minute. Like he makes a statement where I really agree with it, where he's talking about how if you hear anything on a negative note, whether it's we should be scared or we are scared, it's most likely like propaganda, which to me really ties into, it's like anytime you hear something about either being talked into it or scared of it, then it probably goes along lines of like propaganda. Like, because if it's something that's actual, it's usually received very easily. It comes from what you would deem a reliable source, whether it's your news broadcasting, your neighbor, that person in your family, like whatever the deal is. But you're going to have it from a means that you're like, all right, I kind of trust this. And so like the more I start going through like trying to like watch stuff for more education, as soon as I note that there's any kind of negativity on, in a sense on the bias of whoever's producing it, I'm pretty much like, all right, this is obviously like, to me, this is crap and it's propaganda. I don't care what the topic is, but I don't know. I really agree with him in that kind of capacity. Like, dude, if somebody's, that whole, like I always say, if somebody's being negative, it has more to do with them than it does you.
Well, I mean, what I found really interesting about that whole topic of conversation was the concept that, if these alien beings are getting here by the means that he expresses, they're basically interdimensional beings. They're capable of not only traveling time and space, but being able to blip in and out of different dimensions. And that his kind of in theory, what he says is that they are traveling through the ether and they're folding time and space around it so that they're quite literally able to blip in and out of reality on that timeline and to be in that ether space.
Well, because to me, like time and space don't exactly exist. To me, that's a perception. It's a means of measurement. It gives us, something to give like a correlation so that we can draw conclusions and understanding.
I always find that so interesting because, like, the deeper you go into sciences, especially when you're going into the grandiose, like astrophysics and particle physics and stuff like that, you kind of get to that fantastic area where, the discussion starts, it seems to pinnacle at a point that you can't tell whether you're talking spirituality or science. Like, there's this weird, you're talking about to be able to reach technologically a point at which these aliens that are capable of traveling here have reached. You're on such a higher plane of thinking that you don't view another species or another anything as anything different from you.
And that's why I'm like a firm believer in the idea that they would be positive and not be trying to attack or take over or any of that kind of stuff. Because like me personally, the more I meditate, the more I focus on being what I want to be, where I'm truly happy. Like, I'm just a very positive, polite, courteous, accepting, appreciative person.
So that one of the scenarios I'm thinking of while you're talking about Dr. Greer and how the media spun the story when it came out, I thought was really interesting because you see one side of the story where, across the country, across the globe, the people that have these nuclear missile silos that are watching them, right? Something will come onto the radar and literally sit over their base and over where the missile silos themselves are. And I think at one point would turn all of them off systematically. Like, they could just watch all the switches go off, turn them all off, or somehow disengage them. So you actually have to go in, remove the bomb, take it out, repair it. They actually did some serious damage. But when the news media came out with it, it was this whole thing about trying to scare the public. About, even though it was a UFO story, they're coming out like, oh, these guys were watching our missile silos. Like, why the heck would they need to use our weapons to kill us? If they were smart and powerful enough to get here and be able to travel back and forth within a reasonable amount of time, don't you think they'd have better weapons than a stupid nuclear missile, which really is very old science? Let me say stupid nuclear missile. Well, they are stupid, but I can use that word for...
They're a big, dumb, stupid dumbhead.
What? It's one of, I think I said before, like, give something enough power, in this case, obviously the government, but give something enough power and somehow they managed to turn anything into a weapon. So, and that was one thing, like, Einstein was pissed. You know what I mean? Like, he was pissed. He was like, I'm trying to find a way to tap into an unlimited source of energy, or nearly unlimited source of energy.
Right.
And you guys want to figure out how to tinker with it and turn it into an explosive. It's like, it's like you're super genius playing around with a bunch of 6-year-olds. All they can think about is, well, how can I turn this on my enemy? Evilly, rubbing the
maniacally,
yeah. Evilly, yeah.
More evilly.
Moonshine, it's good for your health.
I think this one is. It makes me feel good.
Feels good. No, but
I'll put it this way. Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, we're back to that?
Well, Wu-Tang Clan.
I'm pretty sure they're nothing to fuck with. I'm just gonna... Sorry, go on, please.
Anyone with beef, then bring the ruckus.
Well, if you want beef, you better bring the ruckus.
You're gonna eat that beef and broccoli?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat my beef and broccoli. You said chicken wings. What you need beef and broccoli for?
So the Wu-Tang Clan coming out of, the ghetto, right?
Right.
Just to paraphrase it, make it easy to understand. Coming out of this very depraved, rundown, just, basically like the worst of the worst in a sense, while not being in a third world country, but pretty much seeming like it.
It's comparative.
Right. So they getting out of that have only become more positive, influential people.
Well, I mean, and another way to look at it is so what I said, you take a piece of technology that could, benefit all of society in creating basically free energy, which between Einstein and Tesla, they would have figured it out 50 years ago, at least, right? Well, let's just say 50 years ago. But they're like I said, people who reach that pinnacle of power, they try to turn everything positive into a weapon. Whereas like the Wu-Tang kind of took the negativity and the violence they saw around them and they turned it into poetry.
Well, my expression was more of, as you grow, you become a more positive, charismatic type person, kind of like Einstein in that, where you are trying to find this free knowledge and share it. You're trying to be uplifting on, many levels. So that's why I'm like, you can take the extremes of people that have formally educated themselves, and then people that have educated themselves through the streets, and you still have the same outcome.
I mean, for real.
Two different upbringings, but two different, two totally similar outcomes like that. I think that says something. And Wu-Tang is forever, motherfucker.
Well, and I mean, Einstein didn't come from, a great background. And honestly, if you were to compare, if you were to judge his IQ within the system, the school system that was existent, I mean, he would have been retard level. I mean, I don't know, maybe be offensive. Be retard meaning slow to retard, which means, but he had issues. No, I'm just saying he had issues.
Nothing.
He had issues reading, and he had, dyslexia. And people actually question now if he wasn't on the spectrum, Asperger's spectrum or something like that. So, you could so easily discount that. But he came from, honestly, for most people, I think patent office is pretty much a dead end. But for him, that was his jumping off point. Right? Patent office was just a part-time job for most people. It didn't pay well.
I don't...
you're just pushing papers, you're filing, you're, accepting applications and...
Accepting applications.
Well, yeah, you're accepting patents and applications for patents and...
Yeah, I don't know enough about his history in that aspect to be able to speak correctly.
I think most people discounted him pretty early on, and that's just, I've heard that from several different places growing up, learning about Einstein, that he historically he was dyslexic. He had issues. Numbers would flip around, words, the letters and words or whatever, he would see them differently. Not that that's wrong, but
it's different. It's different from the general
in a school system or the way that an IQ test works. It might not have equated for him, but obviously, like these days, we look at him as, you think genius. You see his picture in a dictionary, almost literally. They're synonymous terms.
At this point, yeah.
Even though genius exists in every one of us, by the way. Genius from his original Latin root, whatever. Actually, yeah. It was actually referring to the fully developed self, let's say.
That sounds like transcendence.
Genius. That everyone has a genius. I think I've told you before, there are times when I put pen to paper and it'll all kind of come out in a flow. I don't have to move stuff around. I don't have to think about it. It'll just... And he, the original term genius would refer to you're tapping into your genius. Like it's already there.
Couple of squiggly lines. This is just not your day.
I love when the gum falls. I rewind just to watch the gum fall out of his mouth again.
That's gross.
It's funny. It's like,
yeah, we're going to have to do something about that, I think.
I don't know, do we?
Yeah, well, for the next one.
Not a problem. I'll work on that. Yeah, this is really smooth. More like a fine wine.
I mean, I was drinking it straight the other day.
No ice, no chaser?
Yeah, no, straight. Like, I was just drinking them.
I'm going to go again.
I mean, yeah, no, I was just me and my dude. We were just freaking drinking them.
Drink it.
Yeah, kind of. But not really. I mean, it's like, you know, he's more respectful than that.
I put that down. That brought the bass. Did you hear that? It was like, boom, boom. Yeah, I could do it again.
I don't know if, whatever.
You probably won't even hear it.
Dude, these new mics surprise the crap out of me.
It's out there. It's not in here. It's out there.
Yeah, out there, it's time.
That was terrible. Sorry.
But yeah, no, dude, I really do like these new mics. These are really dope. There's definitely a complete quality change. There's like way less background BS going on. So
that's got to bring up your quality. That's all.
I mean, do I?
Yeah. Yeah, because now everybody can hear that you're just jackass.
They can just hear it.
They can just hear it. It's crystal clear.
It like oozes out. We're like, dude, that guy is just a jackass. I haven't even said anything yet.
We'll let him turn a mic on.
Like you introduce yourself and they're just like, who's the jackass in the room with them? Like,
anyone can turn a mic on these days. Anyone can turn a mic on. Will it get listened to? Who knows? But
dude, I mean, I'll be honest, man. At this point, yeah, we're getting more and more hits and more and more listens. And
if you're more of a jackass, you might get more listens. I don't know.
Well, that's what we said about
Howard Stern.
Yeah, man.
You know, the average listener listens for an hour. The average fan. The average fan listens for an hour.
Yeah, those who hate him listen for like hour and a half or something,
or two, or
yeah. Minute and a half.
That's it's the numbers. You know, you can't lie. It's the numbers. They're right there.
I just think that's funny. That cracks me up.
So you just need to be more of a jackass.
Challenge accepted.
To accentuate the jackassness.
I gotta have more jackassery. Is that what I'm hearing? Because I mean,
how many words can we make up on this spot?
As many as I want. All of them. I'll make up my own language. Let's start writing this down. Somebody take notes.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a new one.
It was connectitude.
Connectitude?
Yeah, that's from How I Met Your Mother.
It's not a word.
Well, so all right, there's an episode where Barney is like
connectitude is the attitude of being connected. No? Or is that
connected to the attitude?
Connectitude, right? It's tude and connect. I don't know. But please go on, because I don't watch this show.
You should. Anyhow.
So you say.
Well, dude, I've made you watch a couple episodes.
You have.
Like
I should make you watch Supernatural, but I know I couldn't get you to sit long enough to do it.
You've done that. I've sat and watched some, and I did not like it.
I love Supernatural.
I get that. Do not like it.
All right.
Yeah, but that show's not good. How I Met Your Mother is good.
See, but that's the opinion of a jackass.
You told me I got a fever, and the only cure is more jackassery.
Cowbell.
Anyway, so in the episode, Barney shows his
Walkenized it.
He has he does a video resume. So he doesn't send a resume; he sends a video of himself. And there's a part where he's doing he's just making up words. So he's got like 4 or 5 different words just popping here and there, where you're just like, those are totally made up words. And his expression for that is like, it shows imagination. Like, this is how you get a high level job. You know what I mean? Like, this is how you get paid like 6 figures plus, or like you're making $1 million just for managing people.
It shows eccentricity.
Yeah, well, dude, I can't. I'm having an issue recalling them at the moment, but yeah, there's
eclectivity. Yeah, I can do it too.
conspiracy.
Yes, sometimes that. They don't exist anymore, though.
What don't exist anymore?
Conspiracies. We're very short on conspiracy theories anymore.
Because they've been proven.
A bunch of them have come true, unfortunately. Well, or fortunately, I don't know. Maybe it's good to come to the light. It's always good to come to the light, right?
Go to the light, Caroline.
Dude, it's like I could just wind him up.
Dude, you said more jackassery.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I feel like
I feel like I should have brought some mashed potatoes out for you.
I mean, if it's gonna be that kind of party.
As long as they're 98.6.
No, I like them a little cooler than that.
Oh yeah?
I want them just like sink right in. Mashed potatoes got lumps now.
All right. Got a very disturbing image that I cannot scrub from my eyes now.
Well, you're the one that
my eyes didn't actually see it, but
you brought it up.
My brain vision.
You brought it up.
My brain vision.
My brain vision.
My headspace. The movie screen in my...
Yeah, the movie theater in my head.
Well, I don't have a whole theater. I just have a screen because it's just me. That'd be really kind of, I don't know. It'd be kind of like Jackass. I'd be a jackass if I had a whole theater to myself.
I mean, you would be.
Or are you in there with like all other 71 aspects of yourself?
17.
17.
There's 17 of me.
You've actually counted?
No, I'm just assuming. That just seems to be the natural number, so that's probably...
Oh, here we go again. 17.
You know that's what you sound like, right?
That's what you sound like, trying to sound like me. It's like me with like a jackass twist.
Can I get a tall glass of Mr. Gemini with a twisted jackass? Is that what we are?
Every Wednesday.
See, we're like, is that our thing? We're now like a drink you can order. It doesn't, quite go down that easy, but you still enjoy yourself.
I just feel like that would be more like the dirty bar rag.
Oh, dude, what do they call that? A Jersey Turnpike?
Let me just ring this out. There you go. You want a free drink?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure down in New Hope, that's what they call that. Jersey Turnpike.
It's gross. Oh, wait a minute here. I'll get a clean rag.
Dude, no, I think we did that to one of our dudes.
Turnpike if you use a clean rag to start? I don't know.
I don't know.
Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we gave one of those to our dude on his 21st, and he totally threw up for sure.
Oh, God.
But we don't think it was from that. We think it's from the Sweaty Mexican, which is apparently a shot of tequila capped with mayo. That's what it's called, dude.
Oh, with mayo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
Dude, wow, dude.
What was the prairie fire?
What the hell is that?
I forget what liquor it is, though. I've never had one. But that's a trick you pull on somebody on their 21st. I don't know if it's tequila or something, I'm guessing, And then you put like Tabasco on top of it.
Well, I mean, some whiskeys with Tabasco is actually pretty good.
I have never tried that.
It depends. I've had a couple. Pretty good.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, because so Tabasco is just an acid. So
yeah, man.
For real. So we're talking like salts, fats, and acids, right?
Right.
So you have your savory, which is like salt or sugar. You have your fat, which is like butter or lard. And then you have your acids, which can be citrus or pepper. So it can be, what would seem like sweet, like a citrus would, but that's not its thing. It's actually just an acid. So when you combine your salts, fats, and acids the right way with your foods, with the right amount of heat or no heat, so cook it raw, whatever, the right blend in that fashion. So if you have...
See, I say on a Bloody Mary, you got to have all three. You got to have all three of the spices. And then not everybody makes it that way, but you got to have fresh cracked pepper. You got to have horseradish. And you got to have a dash of Tabasco for a good Bloody Mary.
I mean, those were on all of mine.
And like a good chunk of fresh, horseradish. It's got to be fresh horseradish. Like, or canned, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, not cheesy stuff. Good horseradish. And all clumped up in the bottom, so it goes through the straw. Awesome.
Anyway, so with the whiskey, you adding that little bit of acid can change, the profiles, and all of a sudden now you can, it actually will sweeten the whiskey. It doesn't always do that, but it can. It can allow that to be a more prominent note now.
So if you use like a cheap whiskey or a sour mash, it actually brings it up a little bit and makes it more palatable.
Well, that's why I said not with every one of them, but I mean, there are certain ones where, a little extra acid, which is
you pour Tabasco in my single malt, I'm going to have words with you.
Yeah, but what if it's like the dopest thing you've ever had? Are you really going to be upset if all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this is, like
No,
God's milk or something?
As long as it's poured from your bottle, that's fine.
But if you got a hankering for it and you actually like it, then wouldn't you be making your own?
I'm just saying, if I poured myself a nice double of a good single malt and you came along and poured Tabasco on it.
If I skied it with some spice.
Nah, man.
Hell no. I believe you get killed for doing some shit like that.
Thank you. Because if I did it, I would have butchered it. I had to bring you in. Yeah, wind him up. Watch him go.
I don't even know how to respond to that, let alone do I want to. I don't think so.
I felt like we were talking about some serious stuff, and then we got back to
Sincerious.
Whatever, I guess this douchebaggery you call it.
Jackassery.
Jackassery, is that the new one? Are they interchangeable or?
I think they are synonymous.
Synonymous? Synonymous? Is that?
You're putting the wrong emphasis on the correct syllable.
It's good stuff, I just gotta say. With no Tabasco.
When you always got to bring it back around again, don't you?
Oh yeah, see you again.
Yeah, no, that's how it happens.
Green room. Green room's it's a little bit more rustic.
Was Studio 2?
Yeah, it's a little bit more rustic. I mean, it's still solid gold, but
rusty gold, rustic gold.
That's actually physically impossible, but unless it's like 2-karat gold, it's like, man, your rope's gold plated. 24-karat gold plated.
No, they 20s. No, they some 10s. Yeah, they 10s, but I keep them real clean.
What does that even mean?
Dude, you don't know that one? It's next Friday.
Hey, if you keep them clean, they look bigger.
No, they're talking about the carats.
Oh.
So she's asking about the rims, and he's saying that they're 20s, as in like 20-karat chrome. And she's like, nah, them 10s. He's like, yeah, they 10s, but I keep them real clean.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. But so that's what dubs are.
How do I not remember that one?
Well, but that's what true dubs are. They're 20 plus on the size and the chrome keratin. Like, so like the amount of chrome on them. So like the quality of chroming. Yeah. So
it's like a deuce.
Them dub deuces.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then you also had Spreewells. Spreewells is 23s that spin. He was the first to go with 23-inch rims in the market, as well as spinning.
They spinning.
Yeah, so as well as the first set of rims that actually came with a deed. So you could literally get a loan for your rims because they came with a title. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's so funny. Like, if you live in the inner city, you do stuff like that to your car, right? Whether
dude, I don't live in the inner city and I do that to my car.
Saying, you live in the inner city, whether East Coast, West Coast, they all do it their own way. But like you put big rims, or you bump up so the rim size is the size your original tire was, and then you put a tire around that. But it's got to be low profile so it fits. But then you can hardly turn the wheel, so you've actually made your car in some ways less useful.
Well, I mean, same could be said for those cats that are like, what are they, profiling or whatever.
Like, if you're a country bumpkin and you live out in the sticks, you do it totally different, right? You take a base model Jeep, you put big fat knobby tires on it, and you make it functional. You jack the whole thing up. You got, you're pimping out your ride, but in a whole different way, right? Because you're not worried about the chrome. You're worried about, you know, is this thing going to be able to climb rocks and, you know, jump over mountains and stuff?
Yeah, but see, there's like box Chevys. And that's where you take like an old square nose Chevy, you actually lift the suspension and then put like 20 plus inch rims under it. And you got a box Chevy.
It's like when you take those monster trucks and then you put like an old classic sedan right on top of it instead of like, you know, so right on top of the frame, you put like an old Chevy Nova. It's actually a truck, but it's just got a Chevy Nova sitting on top there.
Well, see, in one of my old shops, we used to actually make like box Chevys to sell. Like we would pick them up super cheap, clean them up, fix them, you know, swap engines, like whatever, and then just put like a set of rims on it, maybe paint it or whatever. So we get like these old grandma cars. Like that's literally what they were. I mean, they were old grandma cars where it's like a, you know, an 88 or 86 Oldsmobile Buick, something or other. And all of a sudden it's like, it's got a semi-clean interior. The paint's pretty decent because it's been sitting in a freaking garage because they only took it to the grocery store or church. You know, the car's got like 60 or 70,000 miles on it and nobody in the family wants it. We're like, yeah, we'll take it. So now all of a sudden it's like all we're doing is like cleaning up the chrome, maybe polishing the paint.
Yeah, the interior is immaculate.
Yeah,
it's just like their living room. It's like all covered in plastic,
yeah,
so you don't actually touch anything.
I've actually had some come in that had plastic on them. That's not a joke.
Like, was this stored for a while? No, she just used it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably not.
Like, how do you not slide right off the bench seat? Like,
but yeah, so we would take them and just kind of clean them up a little bit and just throw a set of rims under them.
Yeah.
And, you know, so all of a sudden now we got something we put like $2.5, $3 into, and we're selling them for like 5 or 6. So we're like doubling our money like it's nothing. People were buying them left and right. We'd put them out on the rack. They'd sit there for like a week or two at most and gone. And then the next one's out there like a month or so later. And
I feel like that's kind of a jip though. Or is it just like, here's your starter and then like you can finish it kind of thing? Or because I feel like you should do some engine work to it. Like, you know, bore and stroke, you know,
no,
slap some open headers on that thing, you know,
because that's not well. So a box Chevy isn't necessarily like performance. It's just a look.
It's just the look.
So yeah, basically like you were saying, it's a starter kit.
She's got the look.
So yeah, now if you want to take it and, you know, upgrade and swap motors and stuff, because I mean, I've had cats do that where this one dude picked up,
just slap a big block in there.
Well, so what he did is he bought it from us and he didn't even take it. He literally turned it right back in and was like, yo, swap out engines and a couple other things. So yeah, we did some upgrades and whatnot to it. Yeah, he spent $5 for the car and then like, I think like another 3 in product. And then
no, I want it lifted like way up. Lift it.
No, we just we did engine, custom exhaust, transmission, upgraded the brakes.
Oh, we changed the rear, you mean?
No, just
the diff.
No, kept that stock. I mean, we took it apart and put it back together for him. You know, just
so how do you mean change the just put a beefier transmission on it?
Well, yeah, one that actually made it. Well, because it was a different engine that got swapped, so he had to get a new transmission.
That engine,
yeah, because the bell housings didn't match. It was the crappy V6, and we put in a V8. Yeah, no, I mean it was like nothing crazy. You know, it was a 350 with a 700 R4. Like that's like a standard setup. You know, custom drive shaft because it was like a little shorter or something. I think it was like 1.5 inches shorter. It needed to be. So we sent out the shaft, had it cut down, reweighted and balanced, and man, dude, by the time he got it back, like, cause we did, like we did a whole bunch of like stuff to it before we even sold it to him. So it already had like new brake lines, master cylinder, like a bunch of, stupid stuff. So by the time he got done with it, this car was pretty much like completely finished. Yeah. We even like threw a stereo in it just to get him started. Like I did the kit and whatnot and like set him up with wiring because then he could take it to his dude and he was going to finish it out with the trunk and stuff because he was going to build him like a whole kit and everything. So I just did all the wiring and everything and, plumbed it out with fuses and RTAs and got the guy set and ready to go.
I know it wasn't our dude's thing, and I don't have to say anything other than 66 Dodge Dart, but that thing would have been so pimp if you just went, who cares if it's original and just like, bulletproof rear, bore and stroke or swap motors, I mean, that thing was a beast to begin with, but it was heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to make that like more like a swinger, which was like the smaller version of it, you'd really have to beef up that engine and do something to it. At least, like bore and stroke, advanced timing. I'm not a mechanic. I'm just dude, I just saying there's things you could do. It's not all just exhaust, Guys, a wet fart muffler does not add 5 horsepower to your car.
Dude,
and neither did the decals. Please don't put them on your car.
Dude, honestly, sometimes improper exhaust will remove power from the engine.
It just sounds so good. Like, no, dude, it only sounds good to you. And I understand. I've been there.
No, I've never been there.
I did. I did a Ram air on my Corolla, and I was like, you know what? I know it doesn't give me. And I was honest with everybody, especially my brother, because he's a hard ass. I was honest with my brother. I was like, look, I know it don't do shit, but it just sounds cool, and just knowing that it's there.
Well, in that scenario, it should allow for a slight increase in what you would want to be doing is you're not actually increasing the power that the engine makes. Where like those things, what happens is the engine doesn't have to work as hard to pull the air in.
Right.
So now it'll actually be able to ingest a slightly larger quantity of air, as well as it should also be a slightly different temperature.
Right. But if it doesn't change a whole lot unless you change everything from front all the way back. It doesn't really change a whole lot.
Nowadays
it seemed like it did.
Well, no. So
it's like putting a playing card in your bicycle. It feels like it's faster.
Well, so you're gonna typically you put something that's designed induction wise on that engine, you're going to have a increase in performance. The problem is with just that in and of itself,
it's minimal.
It's so minimal you're literally not going to feel it.
Nope.
You're talking about if you had a 0 to 60 in like 7.9 seconds, now it's like 7.89 seconds.
Honestly, if you ran it on the dyno, the difference could be the same between, I pumped 87 that week and I pumped, 92 the next. Like 92, 93, it depends on what brand. I don't know.
Well, and putting super in by itself, to me, that's only you're masking something. So it's like you're not going to gain performance. What you're going to do is you're going to get performance back in a sense, because it's going to be easier for your engine to actually ignite that mixture. So if you're having an older car with like a crap like tune up on it, a cheap way to do it is to put like higher octane gas in, because it should ignite easier.
Or what was the old trick? Top oil, or a little top oil in the tank. Get it to run a little smoother. It's just masking all the problems that are wrong with it. But a little top oil now and then doesn't hurt, though. Good. Right. It's good for you. Carb cleaner, like once a month. In an older car, it's probably a good idea. Seeing a mechanic is a great idea, but, it's not bad.
So this was like one of my favorite things. We would get this one station where we were at. We had quite a few elderly homing. What do you want to call them? Like the apartment complexes and the communities, and so we had a few. Over I want to say not even like plus 55, but like plus 65, like elderly care. But these cats all had cars, but they never drove them because they didn't do anything. So they would bring their car in like once or twice a year, because they finally drove it and they're like, oh, it doesn't drive right. And it's like, well, because the little bit that you do drive it, you're just kind of like just going back and forth. You're barely doing anything. And these things would just like carbon up.
You're like, I got to clean your injectors. And like, you're back there, like, you just pour like a bottle of this shit in and let it run for 10 minutes. You're outside having a smoke. You're I'm cleaning the injectors.
No, so we would just like let them warm up. And then literally, because there was, we would let them warm up, and we had a section of expressway where we had an on and off that was like about a half mile apart.
You just take it out and open it up.
Yeah, we would go on the one section and just literally wide open throttle for that entire like half mile pretty much, and then pop off the off ramp and then like come back in. And if it was running better, done. If not, we just take another loop, do it again. And
you charge for that.
So with our
that's my point. You're charging for this, right?
For our elderly people, like our elderly clients, when it was a continuous thing, like this was always just something that happened, no, we didn't charge them. No charge. And we would actually, so quite a few of them, we'd get a kick out of it. And
it was like Cameron's dad, who had like a really cool sports car.
Well, we would tell him, like, you know, hey, because a lot of times it was like a Cadillac or something with a big V8, and you know what I
Have
mean?
a little more fun, okay?
Oh yeah, we tell him, like, hey, so
you're 65, enjoy life.
Next time you get on the highway, you know, just give it a little something, because that was the thing. So we would tell him, it's like, hey, we're not going to charge you this time. However, if you come back and this is what we do, it's like we're going to have to charge you for our time. So it's like, what you can do, just go ahead and live a little, buddy.
Well, race that kid in the Mustang. You know, it doesn't hurt.
You can't openly.
Just saying. Am I not allowed to say that? Yo, those caddies though, man, those things will give a Mustang a run for its money.
The views and opinions of the actors do not necessarily represent.
Not at all. Who are you? Ned?
Ned Ryerson?
Ned the Head?
Oh, yeah. I'm an insurance salesman or some shit.
No. I couldn't even see that.
I could sell insurance.
Too much of a jackass. Too much jackassery.
That's why they would buy it from me, because they would just want me to go away. That's how this works. That's my entire plan. That's how I make this happen. Yeah. That's my story.
What do you need a $5 million policy for?
That's none of your business. I just do, okay? I got somewhere to go this weekend.
There's going to be a bounty on my head if I put that much insurance on my life.
I mean,
that's not safe. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Take my wife, please.
Call me sometime when you don't have class.
Right. The king of the one-liners.
Yeah, who was that guy?
Who was that guy?
Yeah, because he was in Goodfellas.
Rodney Dangerfield.
No. The guy was like, take my wife.
The guy that was in Goodfellas.
Well, he was a comedian that was in the movie Goodfellas. He's the king of the one-liners. Benny something Benny. Oh, we're gonna have to look that shit up.
You should look that up.
I don't know. I mean, we're almost on break.
Your box over here.
I don't fucking feel like dealing with it now. I'll look it up later.
All right.
It's not that important.
No, it's really not.
But yeah, no, he's the king of the one-liners.
Yeah.
I'll introduce him to you. You'll like it.
Can I hit a button? I just want to hit a button.
No.
Dude, it's a green room. I'm going to hit a button. It doesn't work. Wait.
Dude, do you stop? Great, you figured it out. Now knock it off.
See, you were just letting me do it because you think I wouldn't figure it out.
Because you usually don't figure it out. You still haven't.
Wait, there's the gain. I got to turn that up first.
That was like the 17th try and you finally figured it out.
Yeah, well.
You're a slow learner.
I had that t-shirt at one point. It was like a monkey with missing a hand on one side. And then like it was like a blue shirt and it had like a little monkey on it. And he was holding like a stick of dynamite or an M80 or something in one hand. And the other hand, you can clearly see is all bandaged up and like missing fingers and stuff.
That's just gross.
And that's what it said. It said, I'm a slow learner. I haven't worn out in a long time.
I don't even have a response for that.
You do. You just don't know which one to choose from.
No, I'm literally like
There's a plethora.
I'm at a loss for a moment.
No, you're never at a loss.
I am at the moment.
All jackassery aside.
Dude, what, I'm not allowed to have a moment? What I always have to be on?
Because this is our time.
I can do whatever the hell I want.
Do that all the time.
I mean, not always.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah, but that's not always.
What do you mean?
I don't always get what I want.
You're doing things against your will? What?
I mean, not necessarily, but like, I may not be getting what I want though. So like, I don't always.
Do you ever actually directly answer a question? Is there like a yes and a no in there somewhere? Or?
Well, if you're going to do it correctly.
Or a yes or a no? Because the yes and a no does me no good. Yeah, kind of.
Well, there's a multitude of.
No, there isn't. Life isn't just black and white, man. It's shades of gray.
Every question has a multitude of answers that are all correct.
Now, I feel like I say that all the time. Being a Gemini, I have two opinions on everything.
If you're properly analyzing the situation, you should.
True.
Or even more.
It's a true fact.
That is a truth fact. Yeah, no, it's time.
Yeah.
Might as well.
It's definitely time. I think we're warmed up enough. And
I don't know. My nose is cold.
if this is the real show for you out there, thanks for tuning in. Really, if you want to get a hold of us, get in touch with us. If there's anything quasi-political or political that you...
Yes, touch us.
People politics that you want to bring up. Because I know these are strange times, and that's all I'm going to say.
You're a strange time.
If you want to reach out to us, please hit us up at directionsinmusic.org. That's IMTELLINYOU at directionsinmusic.org.
MOUSE.
You used that one before, you got to pick something new.
Emmer ducks. Emmer not ducks.
I'm not even going to laugh at that. It's a good thing the show's over.
Dude, it is now.
So this is Mr. Gemini.
Billy D.
And we hope to see you on the flip side.
Well, yeah, because I guess you now you can go to side A. Because that's
Side A, yeah.
Side A.
I don't know if you're the type of person that listens to side B first. But I guess you should, right? Well, yeah.
Technically, the B side is first.
In this case. It's because it's not a record. Well, it is a record, but it's not, never mind. It's not a vinyl.
It's a record.
It's a record. Because everything's a record. I always forget that. I mean, there's CDs now, but they're still records.
Because they're recordings.
Right.
So it's not a record, it's a record.
No. It's not a vinyl record. It's now a digital record or...
It's vinyl.
Vinyl?
Vinyl.
Naugahyde.
The Nagas. Dude, that shit was hilarious.
Seriously.
Those poor Nagas.
Poor Nagas. Millions every year.
We really need to raise the awareness of the Nagas.
So supple. Was this Corinthian leather?
What is this? What is this, velvet?
Where's Corinth? Oh. Is that an actual place? I never looked that up. Corinth. Where is that?
I think it's next to the Naga. Naga Valley.
Is there a Naga Valley? There must be.
It's the valley of the
Silicon
Naga.
Valley, Naga Valley.
Yeah, well, that's where they get all the silicon.
Orange County.
And then Death Valley, that's where all the death is.
It's the hottest place. Isn't that the hottest place? It's the hottest place.
In the States, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's within. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in the North America.
It's not in the world?
I don't think so.
Death Valley is not?
No, I don't think so.
You think that's somewhere in like Saudi Arabia or?
Dude, like in the Sahara or
Do
something?
we have people listening? That'd be really cool if we had people listening in like Saudi Arabia.
Dude, where's our fact checker when we need her?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We never called her. We probably could have. She might have been available. We'll see.
Oh,
Maybe we should.
Well, we're going on break, so let's. All right, ready? Break.
All right, Mr. Gemini.
Yeah, we already did that.
Yeah, do it again because we're signing off.
Well, no, be good to yourself and be good to everyone else.
All right, love y'all.
See, I didn't get what I wanted.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.